I got an email from someone who's frustrated because they're working out and eating right, yet they're still putting on weight. They want to know why. Well, I am not a doctor, but I think I have an idea what's happening. Hey, you, how's it going? How are you? Welcome to this, your Wednesday edition of the show. Yeah, Wednesday. Excellent job, my friend. You are already halfway through yet another week. This is no small accomplishment. You're doing awesome. Hang in there. You got this. You are a badass. And if you need something, if there's anything I can do for you to make your Wednesday better, hit me up. I'm here with you. I'm here for you. At ADSXE. It's where you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at ADSXE. Put it in your phone now in case you need it later. And by the way, thank you so much to every last person that has decided to support this podcast on Patreon. You can do that too. Patreon.com/ADSXE. Any support is, it's more than appreciated. I've said this before. When people suggested I create a Patreon page, I was like, all right, I finished up my 17-year run in radio. I'm starting the next thing. And right now that seems to be podcasting. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but if Patreon is how you get from A to B podcasting and people are asking me to put up a page so they can support it, I'll give it a go. And like I've said before, people deciding they want to support it took me aback how much it meant to me. It means so much more than just the dollars that you're pledging. It makes me feel connected to you. It makes me feel like we've got a real back and forth. It makes me feel supported and cared for in a way that I don't quite know what to do with yet. All I know is that I am incredibly grateful. If you've decided to support me that way, awesome. If not, well, hey, if you're just listening, I love that too. These are mostly conversations, I think, around mental health and some wellness and things of that nature. And I think those conversations should always be free. We talk things out. We get each other through. And there's no way I feel like it would be okay to put that behind a paywall or charge someone a subscription. So if you just want to support by listening and joining in the conversation, that's awesome too. If you want to be a lurker, just listen and never reach out. I love that as well. Basically, what I'm saying is thank you so much for being a part of my radio family. Patreon.com/ADSXE if you do want to support, though. I got an email. You can do that too. I'm here with you. I'm here for you at gmail.com. I got an email from Justin who said, hey, AD, I have a fitness question. Like a lot of people, I'm inspired by your fitness journey. Your before and after pictures inspired me to address my own health. You were good enough to send me your workout program, and it's so easy and simple that I'm really enjoying my time in the gym for the first time ever. But I'm frustrated. I started the meal plan and working out with weights 2 weeks ago, and I put on weight. I thought weight training speeds up fat loss. I know muscle weighs more, but I couldn't have put on muscle that fast, could I? When I only did cardio, I'd lose weight, but I'd gain it back fast. What have you found on your program? Well, here's the thing. I know only what has worked for me when it comes to health and fitness and wellness and getting in shape. I used to be fat. Now I am not fat. And here's the thing. A lot of people reference the before and after picture of me you might have seen on Instagram. And there's like a 50-pound difference there. Now, first and foremost, what you have to understand is that that's a year. Between picture A and picture B, that's a year. I lost 50 pounds in a year. Now, losing 50 pounds sounds pretty over the top, but when you spread it out over 52 weeks, well, that means you're losing slightly less than a pound a week. It's not crazy. It's not some insane crash diet. It's, moving more and eating less in very sensible ways, simple, sensible ways. And most importantly, staying consistent. Now, staying consistent doesn't mean if you miss one of the 3 workouts a week that you've completely blown it. No, it means if you miss one, who cares? You get right back into whatever it is you're doing as soon as humanly possible, and you don't let that destroy what you've already built. Now, there are probably health and fitness types that maybe listen to this podcast that know a lot more about this than I do. And if you do, and you're screaming at your speakers as I'm saying any of this, going, no, you're wrong, you're telling this guy the absolute wrong thing, share it. Share it in the comments section of one of the places this is posted, or email me or hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And well, that's what this is about. It's about building a community of people and talking through the things that we're going through in our life. But Justin, I think I know what might be happening to you, because I'm pretty sure it happened to me. For the first month and a half that I was in the gym doing this simple program where you're in the gym for about 45 minutes, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I like to do it lifting weights, doing some very simple, basic, what they call compound movements that incorporate a lot of different muscle groups all at once. Things like the bench press, things like the deadlift, the squat, pull-ups, eventually weighted pull-ups, and shoulder presses, things of that nature. For the first, I want to say 2 months that I was in the gym, I was also kind of tracking my calories. The idea, if you're trying to burn fat, is you want to use more energy than you consume in a day. And you want to be in what's called a calorie deficit, so that when your body runs out of energy from the food that you've eaten, it goes into the extra stored calories known as your body fat, meaning you're using your body fat for energy as opposed to whatever it is you've eaten that day. Now, I was doing that. I was doing that very carefully. I was going, okay, I was eating about, 3,500 calories a day beforehand. That's how I got to be about 50 pounds overweight. I wasn't moving around much. I led this incredibly sedentary lifestyle where I was working very, very hard and staying very, very still for a lot of it. So I cut my calories back to probably 2,500 a day, 2,400 a day, something like that. And at the same time, I was in the gym. I was exercising for the first time ever. Not the first time ever, but the first time in years. And I'm watching the scale, waiting for the excess baggage to come rolling off. And not only does the scale hardly budge, but same as you, about a week or so in, I noticed that I was putting on weight. I was like, how is this possible? I'm eating less and exercising. This is the exact opposite of what's supposed to be happening. Here's the thing. You are probably putting on some water weight, specifically this stuff called glycogen. Now, when you first start working out and you haven't in a long time, well, you're kind of breaking down some stuff and it's being built back up again. And part of it being built back up again is this stuff glycogen, which is, it rushes to your muscles to help in the healing process. And it's essentially water weight, but it's why you can see these things a lot of people call newbie gains in the gym, meaning like, oh my God, I've only been working out for a week and already I look jacked. Well, that's a lot of this glycogen stuff. That's a lot of what is essentially water and carbs rushing to the muscles, making them look bigger and denser, and making you look more filled out as your body is repairing itself. You're breaking yourself down and building yourself back up again stronger when you're doing this. And for the first couple of weeks, your body's going to be a little bit surprised, and you're going to be holding on to some of that glycogen related water weight as this repair is done to your muscles. So that's something that you should understand. If you're in the first couple weeks of a workout regime and you're noticing that the scales aren't moving down, there's two things you want to be really careful of. If you decide that you're going to eat 2,400 calories, really be sure that you're eating 2,400 calories. Really, really be sure if you're not seeing the scale move in the right direction. You're not looking for crazy results at 2 weeks in. I wouldn't really expect to see a whole lot, especially if you're just starting out. But if you get to a month and a half, and the scale still isn't moving in the right direction, if you're not trending down, then you might really want to look at exactly what you're putting into yourself. Like I've said, you want to get about a gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight a day. So if you're trying to be 180 pounds, you want to be eating 180 grams of protein. And you want to measure that pretty specifically and carefully, or as best you can. And if that means you got to break out a little electric scale when you're eating things that are not easy to zap with a barcode to keep track, then you might want to do that if you're not seeing your weight trend down. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that part of the reason you are putting on weight is no, you're not putting on a bunch of muscle. Real muscle takes an awful lot of time to build. It's not going to come piling on in the first couple of weeks. You know, you will probably put on actual muscle weight as you do this, but it's going to be hard won. What you're probably seeing is that water retention, that glycogen collecting around your muscles, making you look more jacked and dense and all of those things that you're probably looking for, but also causing the scales to move in a direction you're not totally comfortable with. So I would, this sounds like I know what I'm talking about, and I know what worked for me, but beyond that, I don't. I would trust the process of what you're doing. Really, really be careful that you're not eating extra food that you're not accounting for when you're putting it in your MyFitnessPal app or however you're keeping track of your calories. Really make sure that you are getting, in the range of protein requirements that you need, about a gram per pound of ideal body weight. And then give it some time. I know you are not putting on a pound or two of muscle in the first 2 weeks. It's just not really how it works. Muscle, like I said, is a little bit more hard won. It's going to take some time to build that up. And when you do increase your muscle mass, it will weigh more than fat. That is true, but I don't think that's what's happening to you right now. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I know nothing about fitness other than what has worked for me, but I'm guessing that what you're seeing right now is nothing to panic about. Make sure you're counting everything properly and just keep going. And it's awesome that you're enjoying your time in the gym. The thing that I did is very, very simple. I tried CrossFit. I tried all sorts of other stuff. Over the years, I've been in and out of the gym doing all sorts of different things, some of which I liked, some of which I didn't. But this really, really sort of simple, basic routine, which you can knock out in around 40, 45 minutes, 3 times a week. Well, it gave me not only the best results I've ever had, but it was easy for me to stick to. It didn't involve a ton of thought. So it was especially useful and productive in that way. Also, if you're worried about fat and fat retention and putting on weight, if you're worried that you're putting on a pound of fat, if you see the scale go up by a pound. No, so much of what you see in the scale is dictated by water. Not only that glycogen stuff we talked about that rushes to repair your muscles when you are newer to working out or when you've gone for an especially vigorous workout. But you eat a pizza, which you can do if you are being, careful about counting what it is you put into your body. You eat pizza, you eat chips, you eat anything salty, and then you wash it down with something that is also maybe salty, something carbonated, or just, plain old water. Well, eating something salty and then drinking afterwards, that's going to cause you to retain water. That is going to affect your weight an awful lot. I am currently doing my best to get back in shape. When I got back from Kosovo, when I got back from bringing my father to the United States of America after his medical emergencies, I was like, okay, I got a lot to process, and I know exercise always helps me do that. So I'm getting back on my BS, as the kids say. And I sort of started religiously exercising, doing my routine that I enjoy. And I started keeping track of my weight and what I was eating and all of the above. And, well, I took a break from it after my father passed, but I've sort of been monitoring it pretty regularly. And I know, I know that when you eat salty food and you drink a lot of water or soda, it's going to cause you to retain. So I actually I did a little experiment with myself. I got on the scale before Super Bowl Sunday. And after all the chicken wings and chili and nachos and chili fries and creamy dips and the various soda pops and hot sauces and all of the above that went with it, I got on the scale the next day. I weighed 7 pounds more than I did before Super Bowl Sunday. I did not put on 7 pounds of fat. I probably ate what felt like 1.5 pounds of chili at the time, but I know that's not fat. A pound of fat contains, and this is the popular wisdom on it. A pound of fat contains 3,500 calories of stored energy. And well, I know that I did not put on that many pounds of stored energy as fat after one day. And it's just an illustration of how much water and water retention, especially if you're eating salty food, can affect what you're seeing on the scale. So if you wrote me that message after being discouraged after stepping on the scale after Super Bowl Sunday, even if the amount of pizza and chicken wings you consumed fit perfectly within your diet plan in terms of carbs, protein, calories, things of that nature, it could cause you to retain an awful lot of water, which could be affecting things too. But yeah, that would be my advice to you. If you just started exercising a couple of weeks ago and you're noticing that you are putting on weight instead of losing it, even though you're cutting calories and in theory burning more than you are eating, I'd give it a while to maintain. I'd give it a while to even out. Give yourself. It's hard to be patient, especially when you're first starting out. If you've done this before and okay, when I first start exercising and eating right, there's going to be 1.5 to 2 months where the scale doesn't move in the right direction. It's a little easier to take because you've seen it work in the past. So it can be tough to be patient, but if you can, I would be patient. Really, really track carefully what it is you're eating and, get after it in the gym the way you have been. I'm glad the sort of simplified program is helping you enjoy your time in the gym. That's super important. And give it like 1.5 months, 2 if you can, and see if you really don't notice any downturn, if you really are putting on weight. Don't do a drastic calorie deficit. Just, stay the course, and you should see things move in the right way. I would hazard a guess that's what's going on with you because that's what went on with me. Now, there's all sorts of other possibilities. There's potential for various hormonal problems to cause people to have difficulty dropping the fat, losing weight, things of all that nature. But I would hazard a guess that if you are consistent and patient, you will see results. But yeah, that extra weight you're seeing, that's probably just glycogen rushing to the muscles in the form of carbs and water and repairing the damage that you've done and building you back up stronger. You're doing awesome. Hang in there. You got this. That is it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of my radio family. As always, this time that you and I spent together, it's the best part of my day. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. In the meantime, have a great one. Later.